Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Welcome to River Valley Community College. This is our main campus in Claremont, New Hampshire. We also have two academic centers, one in Keene, where our students attend their courses on the campus of Keene State College, and the other in Lebanon, New Hampshire. River Valley is one of 7 in the community college system of New Hampshire. We're affordable and close to home.
Hello, I'm Alfred Williams, President at River Valley Community College, and I just want to welcome you to River Valley. We have a dedicated group of faculty and staff that are here to make your educational experience successful.
When you enter the Claremont campus, you'll be greeted at the one-stop front desk. This is where all of the admissions, financial aid, registrar, and business offices are located. Because we're small and give personal attention to every one of our students, you can drop in anytime to meet with us. The Puxta Library is located just as you enter the Claremont campus. Our librarian and staff are here to help you with your research with our online River Valley Discovery Service. The digital library features an academic search engine that you can access 24/7 to find ebooks, videos, articles, and other scholarly resources. It's quiet, comfortable, and set up for your success. For health and wellness, try our treadmills designed to let you study while you exercise.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan and I work here at the Advising Career and Transfer Center. We refer to this as the ACT or the ACT. So in this department we have advising for general studies and liberal arts. We also have early college. Jerry is our coordinator for that program. So if you're a high school student that would like to come in and learn more about that program, he is always available to talk with you or your parents. We also have transfer services here at the ACT, so if you're interested in transferring to a 4-year institution after, come see us and we'll help give you some of that information.
You'll find River Valley Community College has faculty and staff that truly care about you and your educational journey. Many students start here, earn an associate's degree, and go right to work, while others take advantage of our transfer agreements with the University System of New Hampshire and other private schools and universities. Most liberal art core courses and general education credits earned here will transfer wherever you go. Get involved while attending River Valley with our student government, clubs, and Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Starting your first 2 years of college close to home and at a fraction of the cost just makes sense. Thank you for joining us for this virtual tour. Get started on a degree or certificate program today by completing our free online application at rivervalley.edu and soar into your future.
Hey, welcome everyone. This is with River Valley Community College, another edition of River Valley Study. We're reaching after our summer semester in the one time we had a chance to chat and the virtual So welcome back and thank you for being with us here on YouTube. Today we have some special guests with us to talk about some of the programs and guest is the Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, Jen Kenoyer. Welcome, Jen. How are you?
I'm great, Suzanne. Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here today.
Well, we've had a busy summer and an unpredictable summer at that, for sure. We had a lot of students that took our enrollment. We're heading into the fall and we have some exciting things happening with special federal and state grants and loans this year. Some of them are related to the COVID situation. Others are the FAFSA and the federal student aid that we so you want to talk about with financial aid and scholarships, and then we'll get into some of the special programs that we have planned for students this fall.
Sure, absolutely. So at River Valley, we've always really been very cognizant that it's can be an expensive thing to get your degree. And so we really work hard to make sure that we have as many resources as possible available to our students. And so you're right, with COVID, that's provided us with some extra money from the government. And if you're a New Hampshire resident, there's some extra money from the governor of New Hampshire as well in those special funds. And then at River Valley, we've also been able to put some extra money into scholarships for our students, especially those seeking a certificate. So if you're getting ready to enroll in the certificate program, we've got some great scholarships available to you. And the best part of it is that we try to make it as easy as possible to access this money. So the first thing you'll do is just fill out your FAFSA and get in touch with our financial aid office. And from there, they'll direct you through to our scholarship portal, which is AwardSpring. And again, you just create a profile right there and it matches you up with scholarships that would be applicable for you.
Yes, and I know besides the finances about going back to college or returning to River Valley for the first time, a question on their mind is what is it going to look like? Am I going to be attending classes in person? Will I be attending classes online? Can you touch a little bit of each of those scenarios and tell our audience about what River Valley has planned for this fall?
Definitely. It's certainly an unusual time. And so I want everyone to know that at River Valley, we have two things on our mind. The first is the safety of our students, our faculty, and our staff. And the second is making sure that our students still have access to the high quality educational experience they've come to expect from River Valley. And so to that end, what we've done is create a mix for the fall. So if you are more comfortable taking an online class, we have those available fully online. Maybe a synchronous experience where you're on with your class on Zoom, just like we are right now at a certain time and a certain day, or maybe asynchronous where the material is there and you tackle it on your own time and you don't have to be in front of a computer at a special time. We have some hybrid classes if you're comfortable coming to campus occasionally. So you would be with your class in person on campus on certain days, socially distant with masks. And then online for the rest of the time. And we do have some classes that are being held fully on ground. And so what we've done on our campuses is you'll have a temperature check when you come in. You'll be asked to wear a mask. We've set up all of the classrooms so that social distancing can be observed. And we really want everyone to feel safe and feel comfortable, but still be able to access our services here and be able to get the educational experience that they want.
I'm glad you mentioned services, Jen, because I think one of the unique things about River Valley Community College is that we do really focus on the whole student. And we're very, very conscious of all of the struggles and opportunities in college. I've been very excited about the tutoring program at River Valley Community College because a lot of students don't realize that this service is available to them, not only at no cost, but on their schedule, and there are multiple tutors that can be assigned to a student for multiple classes. In addition to tutoring though, I know you've been one of the big advocates for the mental health program that we initiated at the college. Can you speak to that just a little bit?
Absolutely. So we know that COVID is very stressful, and being a student can be stressful already without coronavirus on top of it. And so one of the things that we know really helps with students who are experiencing stress and anxiety and all of the other things they have going on in their lives is to have access to mental health care. And so we have partnered with a company called BetterHelp, and they provide free to you. River Valley is covering the cost. Either you can choose a therapist to chat with over text message, you can email them, you can set up phone calls or video conferencing with them, whatever you're personally comfortable with. And so what happens is about a week into the semester, you will get an email from me reminding you of this service. And then a few days later, you get a link directly from the company and you click on that and it's completely anonymous. I have no idea who's accessing it. You can choose to use a pseudonym, you can use your own name, whatever you're most comfortable with. But we really feel like it's important that right now, especially, students have access to those mental health services to help them, deal with everything they have going on.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a great benefit to our students, and I know that it has already helped the campus. Our president was on the show here in May. We talked about the food shelf and providing students with not only food to on our campus, because that students were having difficulty getting to campus. So we were able to send grocery store gift cards for those students most in need. And I know it really helped a lot of students over the summer. I'm so proud of River Valley for doing that program. And, let's talk a little bit. So our fall is just 2 weeks away from our start date, and we have some of our programs are already full. Those are health programs that are competitive, and the deadline applications are back in December or March, but we still have plenty of programs available. Do you want to just touch on maybe a couple? We have some guests on today who are also going to talk about medical lab technician and also our IT person who's going to talk about our computer technology programs at the college. But maybe you can touch on just a few more that you'd like to highlight. We had 2 weeks.
Sure, thank you. I'd love to. I think that often people just think of us as the allied health institution, which it's true. We have a lot of great allied health programs and we're very, very proud of them. But something that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to go into the medical field. And so I think that it's important to remember that we have wonderful liberal arts programs at River Valley Community College, whether that's early childhood education, criminal justice, business and accounting, or perhaps you just want to come and get a liberal arts degree, finish off your original requirements and transfer to a four-year college of your choice after 2 years and have that kind of under your belt and done in a really affordable way. So I really want to encourage students who maybe just think of River Valley as, oh, you go there if you want to become a nurse, or oh, you go there if you want to become a respiratory therapist. While we love those programs and they're wonderful, and we want you to come here for that, if that's not your jam, that's okay. We have a lot of other programs that perhaps would resonate more with you.
All right. Well, good. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. And, being in admissions myself, I know that we see students who really are not sure what direction they want to go into, but they know they want to come back to college and change careers or get a new career or get their education for the first time. And I often recommend they go to the website, look at Career Coach. Career Coach is a career assessment that can take 30 seconds or 3 minutes. There's 2 different assessments there, but also on the website from the Department of Labor and what kinds of jobs are available that are attached to the degrees that we offer. So, if you have some time, just try to figure out what you want to do. That's a great resource to go onto our website and look at Career Coach. So Jen Kenoyer, our Vice President of Academic and Student Affairs, thank you so much for being with us in our guest. Before we go, introduce our guest.
I'm sorry, Suzanne, could you repeat that? I didn't hear that last part.
I'm so sorry. I was just saying, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure we touched on before we go on to the next guest?
I would just like to say thank you again so much for having me. It was wonderful to be here. And I really want students to know that we understand that going back to school is hard, and River Valley has got very rigorous programs. So if you come here, you are going to work hard. But what we can tell you is that if you agree to work hard in those classes, we are going to be here for you every step of the way. And we are going to provide whatever supports that we can to help you get through successfully. We will dedicate to that if you're willing to put in the work on your end. So we're looking forward to seeing you here this fall.
All right, thank you so much, Jen. Please feel free to stay on while we introduce our next guest. And I apologize if there's some audio issues. I guess the Wi-Fi is a little wonky right at the moment, but hopefully. I wanted to introduce our next guest. She is the program director for the Medical Lab Technician program at the college, and her name is Nancy Eckerd. Welcome, Nancy.
Hi, Suzanne. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Nancy, you are on your faculty break. I know faculty is coming back to work
on Monday, the 17th of August. So we certainly appreciate you taking the time to be with us and to talk about your program. You're fairly new to the college. You started just last year. So why don't you tell us just a quick little bit about yourself and your program at River Valley Community College?
Well, I'm new to River Valley, but prior to that, I taught about 15 years, I think, at Lakes Region Community College. So I'm not new to teaching. I also have been a medical technologist since I got out of college a long time ago. So I've got quite a few years of experience there. I love what I do. I love to teach. I love working in the lab. So it's been a really exciting time for me to impart this knowledge and my passion to students about the laboratory. So I really enjoy it.
And I had the pleasure of meeting some of your students last spring. I got to come in your lab and see some of the work they do, and it was fascinating to me to see how much equipment we have on hand at River Valley and what kinds of projects the students get into. Can you talk about what is typical in a medical lab technician program in the first year, and then what happens as you go into your second year and then after graduation?
Well, the way our program is set up, we start with the Intro to Lab Procedures course and some very basic classes that you'll need. You'll draw on them a lot. The program itself is very heavy on math and science courses. So those are two skills that you need to be comfortable with. We start students with chemistry, and oftentimes they take a math along with it. Moving into the spring semester, they go into more of the specific discipline areas. They'll start with clinical chemistry and immunology. Summer course is urinalysis. The first semester of the second year, you go into the hematology, blood banking, and pathogenic micro theory courses. The last semester, you spend your time at a clinical affiliation. We affiliate with many hospitals throughout New Hampshire and Vermont. We've used Dartmouth. We've used the Elliott Catholic Medical Center, some smaller places like Spear Memorial Hospital or even Cottage Hospital. So we have a variety that we try to send students to, a variety of experiences. And that's where you get a lot more hands-on training and where you can get everything to finally like click into place. The light bulb goes on and you say, oh, the patient that has this disease, this is what I will see in all the different disciplines. So that last semester is really a great way to pull it all together before you graduate and get hired, oftentimes by one of the places that you trained in. So.
Well, awesome. Like I said, I had such a pleasure really getting to know some of your students last year and finding out what they were planning on doing after graduation. And so can you talk about some of the jobs that are available and some of the opportunities for students who go through your program? If they're not going to go right into the workforce, do they go back to school? What kind of programs do they go into if they decide to continue their education?
Well, we do have an articulation agreement with UNH where our program courses are accepted into their clinical lab science or medical lab science degree. It's a 4-year degree that is, they're going to do the same thing as the MLT profession, but they have the 4-year degree, so they get a little bit more pay. There's lots of other schools out there. I was fortunate enough to join a couple of groups this spring and work with colleagues all over the country for getting things going virtually, actually, due to the COVID situation. One woman shared her list of schools that many are online, some are in person, but she shared this list of schools where students could apply to complete their degree. And if it's an online program, they can do it while they're working. And I actually have a couple of graduates that got their jobs and told me they've applied to a couple of different schools to finish their 4-year degree and eventually sit for the next level exam. So as far as what you could do besides working in a hospital lab, you can work in a private lab or a reference lab. One of the gentlemen I had contact with just over the summer about an instrument I'd love to buy for our little MLT lab. He was a former graduate of an MLT program in Florida, but he understands well what we do. Right now, he's a sales rep for an instrument. One of the gentlemen I worked with at LRGH in Laconia, he actually graduated from River Valley. He's very proud of that. He's a great guy. He was trying to get a job as the technician that goes around and fixes instruments when they go wrong. I mean, these are $500,000 to $1 million machines that you'll be working with. You'll be breaking them down and putting them back together. Sometimes with a phone call, someone telling you what to do while you do it remotely through their direction. But these are the kind of things you can work with. So if you like taking things apart and putting them back together and solving problems, this is a good place for you. Other places you can work, some of the things like I did were in the Red Cross. I did quality control on blood products. You can test blood products. I also did transplant workups. We looked for bone marrow and kidney matches for various reasons. And we also did paternity testing, and that can be really interesting in of itself. There's lots of options out there, not necessarily hospital-based.
Nancy, you also mentioned early that, it is heavy in the medical lab technician program on science and mathematics. What does a student really need to have to get into your program?
If you're coming right from high school, you should have had high school biology, high school chemistry, ideally, so you can go into the anatomy and physiology class, algebra 1 and 2. If you've gone farther in mathematics, that's fantastic. We can help assess where you stand with these different skills, but those are the minimum. And of course, English, everybody should take English because you never know when you are going to have to write a proposal. You may advance to a point where you're a lab manager or director or section head. You might have to write a proposal for why you need a new instrument. Writing is very important. But minimum biology, I would like to see chemistry and algebra.
And I will say from the admissions perspective, once a student applies to your program, there is some paperwork that they need to submit as well, filling out a questionnaire and also an interview with you. And I think that's a really important part of the process of admissions, especially for the programs that are rigorous and require some extra credentials. So what happens in that interview? I know some students get nervous about that.
Well, I ask what made them want to be in this profession. Why, how did they find it? Who told them about it? Some people just did a search and saw it. Lately, there's a lot of posts I've seen on Facebook because of the groups I'm in about the hidden profession, which is what we call ourselves, coming to the forefront because we're helping with testing for COVID and developing tests for antibodies and such. So I like to find out why you want to be in the program, how you found out about it. Do you have any particular areas you're interested in? Most students say no, they want to learn about it all before they pick one. And then I do discuss how important the math and science aspects are and tell them how the courses run in a specific path so you can't, take them here and there. And try to give them a good idea of what to expect.
All right. Well, Nancy, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's a really interesting profession. As you said, it is in the front lines right now of this pandemic that we're in. And so I anticipate that there will be many opportunities for students in the workplace in the years to come. So is there anything else you wanted to share about your program before we move on to our next guest?
Well, there are hundreds of jobs out there right now that are going on. Graduates from this year got jobs. I've been approached by several other facilities looking for other students. Did they all get jobs? Send them here. So there's lots of jobs out there, and the pay is only going to get better. So, it's
all
a
right.
good profession.
Nancy, thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you taking the time. We will welcome you back on campus or virtually next week when the faculty returns. So enjoy your rest of your time off, and we will be back in touch once we are back on campus.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. So we also have another guest with us today. We have Robert Morris, who is the program director for our computer technology programs, and we have several of them. Welcome, Robert. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry, I muted and unmuted it quite quickly. I'm Robert Morris, Program Director for Technology at River Valley Community College.
Excellent. And can I call you Bob? Because that's what I normally call you, but I know
sure
Robert is more formal.
Yep.
So Bob, you have been with the college for a long time and have been running the programs in our IT technology program. So we have a computer networking program and we have information technology program. Do you want to talk about some of these programs and the 2-year degree and 1-year certificate options that are available to students?
Yes. I'll share a PowerPoint.
Sure, that sounds good.
So I'm going to talk about an overview of the technology programs. We have three career paths. We have information technology associate degree, the cybersecurity and healthcare IT associate degree, and a networking associate degree, along with 2 certificates, networking and cybersecurity. A lot of times when somebody will come into the networking degree, they might add a cybersecurity certificate along with it to give them a stackable credential. Mm-hmm. Or if they come into the cybersecurity and healthcare IT degree, they'll add on the networking certificate as a stackable credential to give them more skills for the places that they work. Information technology is a degree that if you're not sure which path you would like to take, you go into this degree. You'll get a little bit of networking, a little bit of cybersecurity, a little bit of programming, a little bit of web development to help you determine where you would like to focus your career path. So we have, so what I wanted to say about these degrees, there's a network in every building. So it isn't going to be difficult to get a job. Every company, every college, every hospital, every business, banks, they all have a network in their building. They need individuals who are skilled at technology to support those networks. And that's where the networking degree focuses on. There is some security within the networking degree as well, but the data on those networks needs to be protected, and that's where our cybersecurity and healthcare IT degree comes in. The cybersecurity and healthcare IT degree, there's a healthcare IT portion. There's a couple of courses in that degree, which will focus towards the medical field, terminology, HIPAA, things like that are related to the medical industry. So it gives you almost a little bit of a stackable credential within that degree that you can also work in a medical facility, clinics, hospitals, whatever security they may need on their networks.
But you had told me once, Bob, that the cybersecurity and healthcare IT, the healthcare portion is just an option. If somebody wanted to go into cybersecurity, they could just take that course, take the additional healthcare IT courses, but be able to focus on other things in their career later down the road if they wanted to. Is that still correct?
Yes. So the cybersecurity and healthcare IT degree, the cybersecurity is in every business.
Yeah.
So this degree will apply to any business, not just healthcare. But the two courses that are also included in that degree that focus towards healthcare allows you to also work in a hospital or a medical facility. But you would be working in IT within those buildings, those companies, the medical facilities. You don't have to work in a hospital. It's just an added set of skills. For information technology, you would get a little bit of everything, but not in depth in any one area. So cybersecurity focuses really in depth in the protection of the data on the networks. Networking focuses on setting up networks, troubleshooting network issues, supporting those networks with some security as well. Where information technology doesn't go as in depth on them, on any one of those two topics, but it covers them enough so you have an idea how they work. But you learn about the computer hardware, software, storage, because data is being stored on a network. You learn about some networking, some cybersecurity, some web development, and some programming. Because if you are in technology for a career and you get hired at any company, the first thing they're going to think of you as an IT support person is that you know everything about IT, even if you don't have that in-depth knowledge. What we teach our students at the college here is to learn how to learn and research, be able to research anything that they do not know. And so a lot of times in technology, you'll ask for technology support, and the individual may not know exactly what the issue is, but they're going to research as well as troubleshoot what they already do know, and they'll figure it out because that's how they're learning on the job. So our courses in technology within these three programs, but the 2 certificates are included as well. We teach it like a business, like they would do the skills and hands-on troubleshooting, setup, configuration, just as they would with their employer, so that when they go out into the field, they're already comfortable with that. It isn't any big surprise, and they actually have the experience because we have 2 computer labs set up for IT directly for the computer technology programs, and all of those computers in there are the hardware is torn apart. They rebuild them. They learn how it works. As they rebuild them, they troubleshoot any issues they come across. They configure them. We give them different scenarios that we want them to set up as a business, and they set them all up. And so a lot of times these computers may not be working for the average student, but our technology students are using them as labs to work on.
Yeah, and I've had the pleasure of being in your labs as well. I guess it's the benefit of being the photographer around campus, but it's really fascinating to see the students working both in taking apart and putting computers back together in the computer lab, but the networking lab as well, where there are wires everywhere. And if you don't know networking, like I don't, it just looks so impressive to see how things are connected. And you also have your own server there so that the students can learn in real time how to network to a server.
Yeah, we have multiple servers in a couple of different racks where each student can have their own server, and they configure it per our instructions of, we give them a whole scenario of what we would like done. And through all of the courses from semester to semester, they're learning all these skills, and then they're applying them. Each semester, it gradually gets harder, and we give them a scenario to configure at the end, and it would be pretty much setting up a business. So they would be able to set up new equipment on a network and configure it, troubleshoot it, support it after. And so we have a variety of equipment in the lab for the students to work on. Some of the equipment is older, some of it's newer, and the older equipment, there is no plug and play. On new equipment, you buy new equipment and you plug in a cable or a disk, and it pops up and it says, oh, do this, set it all up, and it's done. And it's kind of a plug and play configuration. Where some of the old equipment, there's no plug and play. So I can walk through the lab and I can see the students are working on hooking up a couple of pieces of equipment together and they need a cable. And I can hand them an incorrect cable and make them troubleshoot, or I can hand them a cable that doesn't work and they'll troubleshoot. Versus if I handed them the correct, an incorrect cable on new equipment, it would go, oh, this is the cable we need to use. So it would set it up automatically and they wouldn't even know that they had the wrong cable.
Yeah.
Where they learned that at River Valley Community College.
So Bob, what are your students doing? They're students that have graduated recently. Are they working in the field? Have they gone on to get a higher education? Like, I'm just curious, like what kinds of jobs are available to them? And I know every business needs IT, but I wondered if you could talk about some specific examples of students that have graduated.
I sure can. I have one graduate who is working at Claremont Savings Bank, supporting the IT network there. Very critical with money, everybody's money.
Yeah.
I have two current students that are also working there. So they're working there while they're getting a degree with us. I have one student who works down in Brattleboro, and he has worked his way up to the IT manager position where he supports the network, but he has 3 or 4 individuals helping support the network under him. I have 2 graduates working for Red River right here in town right now. One, I had another graduate who is working for Red River, worked there for a couple of years, but now has moved on to work at Dartmouth College in the cyber division. He graduated in cybersecurity and healthcare IT from River Valley Community College. I've had graduates go on to Norwich University. A couple of them, 3 of them, 4 of them actually have gone on to Norwich University and got cybersecurity degrees there after graduating with 1 with a cybersecurity, 2 with a cybersecurity degree here, but 2 had networking and went on to Norwich and graduated in cybersecurity up there. Another student graduated and went to Plymouth University. Mm-hmm. We have articulation agreements with Plymouth University and Keene State College and Norwich University. And the student that went to Plymouth State University has a job here in town at one of the companies, local companies, a manufacturing company, and he's working in IT. And when he went to Plymouth State University, they transferred all of the credits from his associate degree in networking here at River Valley Community College into the first 2 years of a networking degree, or an IT degree, I think it was, over there at Plymouth State. And then he was a little worried because they held off and didn't get back to him right off on the rest of the transfer of credits. When they finally did get back to him, they had transferred some credits, extra credits that he had into the 3rd year as well, saving more money. And to give you an idea, completing a degree at the community college, River Valley Community College, is very important to complete that degree because the degree holds its value. And I know because I'm a River Valley Community College graduate myself. And when I went back to get a bachelor's degree in IT at Franklin Pierce University 20 years later, they accepted all of my credits from a mechanical design drafting associate degree into a bachelor IT degree. And they still accepted all of the credits.
Yeah, that's great.
So the degrees hold their value. Plus I was employed the whole time on my associate degree for 32 years. So.
Wow. Yeah, I love these stories about your students. And I know that given the situation with COVID and every business going to remote learning and remote working, IT jobs are going to be even in higher demand as we go forward. And it's really great to hear some of these stories. And certainly the articulation agreements and the transfer of credits, these are the things that students who are just entering the college for the first time, maybe they just graduated in 2020 during the pandemic, and they may have had plans to go off to a 4-year or maybe go right to work, but now they're rethinking that because of the situation we're in right now. So it's a unique time and a unique situation. So wow, Bob, that sounds great. I am looking forward to getting your program full this year. So what kinds of, and you can stop sharing if you want on the screen, unless there's something else on the screen you want to share, but what other things would you say to a student who's sort of on the fence about coming to college or thinking about IT? You know, what kind of advice would you give them to come to River Valley and complete a degree?
Coming to River Valley Community College, getting a 2-year associate degree, you have small class sizes, so you actually get to ask the instructor questions. You get to know your instructor. You get to know all of your classmates by name. You even become friends with them. You can collaborate. You'll collaborate with these people forever in the future, even when you have separate jobs at different companies. But you can you can have a career in IT at affordable price without going bankrupt for way less than a quarter of a 4-year degree. But you can transfer all of your credits into a 4-year degree later on if you decide not to go out and get a job immediately. You can transfer them all later on and still get that 4-year college education for the higher pay and the 4-year college experience. But at the same time, you've graduated with an associate degree, you are employable, you can now get a job and work, and then your employer may send you back to get your 4-year degree and pay for that. Also, in the technology programs, all of our courses are based around industry recognized certifications in IT. And students, these courses, after they go through and pass one of our courses, they could, before they even graduate, they can go and sign up and take a certification exam. So for instance, CompTIA A+ certification exam, they could take that. When they get that certification, earn that certification, they put that on their resume, and the future employers know that this is the base set of skills that they have for that certification, and they could get more money right off with an associate degree and a certification without the bachelor's degree. And back quite a few years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, an A+ certification would increase your salary by $25,000 a year if you had it. But of course, more and more people are getting it, so it's a little more competitive. But certifications definitely will improve your salary, even with an associate degree.
All right.
I recommend community colleges.
Thank you so much, Bob. It was really nice to hear about your program. And for our folks at home who are thinking about coming back to college, not sure what to do, a degree in the IT area is a really great place to start. It will serve you well throughout your career, no matter where you go, because as Bob said earlier, the networking and IT is in almost every business, school, hospital, and municipality. So there are plenty of jobs available. So thank you again, Bob. Bob Morris from River Valley Community College, computer technology programs. All right, so I have Jen left on the phone here. On the Zoom, I should say. Jen, I know that we're coming into a very exciting time when our faculty on to start serving our students, and I just wondered if you would share just a little bit about what the plans are for this fall as we launch the rest of the semester.
I'm terribly sorry. I have to ask you to repeat that last question. What the plans are for fall?
Yep, just, you know, we're getting our faculty back on campus and our students will be there in 2 weeks. Just kind of looking forward to what's happening this fall.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier about the different ways that you can attend class at River Valley this fall, online, a hybrid, an on-ground option, but don't worry, we're going to still continue all of the great things we've done before as far as you can get involved in Student Government Association. They'll continue their meetings and all of the exciting activities they do via Zoom. You can also get involved with our Honor Society, which is Phi Theta Kappa. If you are enrolled full-time and you have a GPA above 3.4, you are invited to join Phi Theta Kappa, and they really focus on community service and in doing a lot for our community and also the college. So that's a really exciting opportunity. We've just hired a person to work sheerly on student life activities, which I'm very excited about. We have a really diverse community as far as we have students, as Nancy and Bob have talked about, who are coming right out of high school. And we also have students who are coming back and they have families and are maybe interested in some different activities. So we have that very diverse population, and whatever that you are interested, we can find a niche for you here. We have students forming clubs all the time that are based around their own interests, and COVID-19 is not going to stop us from pursuing those. They might look a little bit different, just like everything else looks a little bit different right now, but those opportunities are still here, and we're very excited to have a vibrant and very busy fall semester.
All right. Well, thank you, Jen. I just want to remind folks who are thinking about coming back to college that it's not too late. And you're hearing this from the admissions person. So our website is everything you need to know about the program. You can start by contacting one of our admissions staff. You can fill out an application right online. We get the application almost immediately. And we have a new program now where we've just started an LNA program for students who are looking to enter into the healthcare facilities. And we're offering that both in Lebanon and Keene coming this fall. So there's information on our website, our program. We also have many opportunities in many of our courses and programs of study that are still open and available. And now is the time to sign our We offer in-state tuition for anyone who lives within 50 miles of our campus. So even if you're just over the river, no, not a problem. In-state will you. So the price of tuition is the lowest that you're going to find around, and the quality of the education is amazing. Our professors come to River Valley because they're passionate about community college, and it's a really great place to start. So I hope folks at home, you'll think about joining us. And if you have any questions at all, I'm always available. And visit us on our website, visit us on campus, but you'll have to call first, because right now we're doing appointments only for visitors. But you know, it's COVID. It's different than usual. I'd like to just thank my guests again, Nancy, Bob, and Jen. We hope that you will join us again next week for another edition of River Valley.